Hello, and welcome back to Dorm Radio Gamescast. As always, I'm your host Ryan, and I'm joined today by my lovely cohort of co-hosts, Wyatt,
Hello.
Brett,
Hello.
and Alex.
Hi.
We're here to do the thing that we do every year now, which is a 001 Radio Fantasy Critics League from fantasycritic.games. Great site where you can basically play sports ball draft pick games, except about video games, because none of us watch sports ball. So, it's time to do that. But first,
and very importantly, experience the repercussions of last year.
Oh, yes. You all have a lot to answer for.
That's true.
We're going to take a look at the 2022 results and announce the punishment that must be doled out to each of our losers here. I won. There's no suspense here. I won by a lot.
No, yeah.
I won by a solid 60-something points. Largely just because I picked all the games and most of them released this year. It wasn't a lot of things, and I also snuck God of War in there, which really
definitely a big help.
Was a big
You
help.
snuck God of War to spite me for picking.
Well, you didn't pick it first. You picked Advance Wars, which was really mind blowing to me.
Which is not even out still.
Pick Advance Wars first. That's not true. You know what I picked first? I picked Gundam Evolution first.
Oh, you
Spite
picked
everyone
Gundam
else.
Evolution
And then you picked to mess with you guys, and then you picked God of War Ragnarok to spite me.
Well,
and look how that paid off.
That
God of War
26
Ragnarok
points.
is worth more points than you.
All right, so we need to answer for the crimes that you have done. In second place, Brett, you put it up a valiant effort and had a lot of games, but many of them didn't release.
The ones that did come out, we got a bunch of ones. I had Indie Darling Syndrome, where the games I cared about, 4 people played, and they were mid.
Yeah,
but
I'm really glad Stars from the Divine Force had 1 point at the end of all of this. At least it's in the positive. Poor Star Ocean. I mean, really poor Soul Hackers too. Didn't get the reception that they were expecting.
I think it kind of deserves that, because it's not that great. It is still good though. But I gotta tell you, I'm 5 hours into Valkyrie Elysium right now. This is
hard to disagree with that score. Yeah,
what we're experiencing right here. I don't know what those people were thinking, but
yeah, but you were close. You were up in the contention.
I don't
one
think
or two things. Most of your things released, and some of them were good. So,
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
That's better than the other things here. Solid question mark. Otherwise known as Alex's publisher for this. Alex, you could have probably beaten Brett, except you didn't pick your counter picks.
Oh,
yeah, definitely.
You missed 2 of your counter picks, and you lost 30 points based on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you would have either tied or beaten Brett.
You would have beaten me. Yeah.
If your counter picks didn't lose points. Most of them lost about 1 point, so you probably would have hit either nothing or lost points, but you would have been up there. You would have been a close number 2.
I picked High on Life. I don't remember doing that.
Your thing was a lot of things didn't come out for you.
Yeah.
You could have been in the running for winning if things came out, especially System Shock and Atomic Heart.
Wizard with a gun.
Oh, Wizard with a gun is rad. I wish that came out this year. Game looks great. All right.
Exomecha, I don't remember what that is at all.
That was the
Stanley
last
Parable?
free-to-play thing available.
I think so.
Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, Stanley Parable was great. And then we have Wyatt. Or should I say we didn't have Wyatt for most of it. He's here. He's making his obligated appearance. But
by contract.
By contract.
Okay. So, okay.
Sure, we do get to seize all his assets.
And I'll state this here.
Show up.
There were reminders that went out. This wasn't a no reminder situation.
No. I want to make this perfectly clear. This is entirely on me, and I'm not gonna sit here and blame anyone else, because the issue was me, 100%.
But you also had 2 other problems, which was Forspoken got delayed again. Redfall also got pushed back.
Oh my god!
As well as you
chose
picked Advance
Forspoken,
Wars,
that's right.
Which didn't come out, and we don't know when it's going to come out.
Yeah, that's the real heartbreaker. Is Advance Wars 1 and 2. It's as we've said, it's understandable, but it breaks my heart because it's right there. They're teasing me with it. and it's not here. Anyway.
All right. Well, these goobers have done the things that they've done, which means they must pay. And so I have 3 streams that we're going to do over the course of the next year at various points. We'll find the time. 3 things. One of which is for all of us to suffer together. 2 of which are individually targeted. Brett, since you were second, you don't have your own individually targeted thing. Because you would probably play these bad games on your own anyway, and so I don't think I need to tell you to.
I did, and they're great. Except for one of them.
Wyatt, you're at the bottom, which means you're going to do not all 3, because one of them is specifically for Alex. Alex, we're going to start with you, because you were the closest to the top that has your own thing. You're going to play Mortal Shell. And we're going to watch you play Mortal Shell.
God.
For as long as you can bear.
For as long as you can tolerate it, at least 45 minutes.
I am gonna have to censor
on Game
myself
Pass now.
so much.
No,
God.
you don't. This is just going to be a stream. It's not a podcast, so you can do whatever you
Okay.
want. Only watch you play Mortal Shell.
Of your life.
I'll make sure to periodically pause, lift my hair up, and show all the forehead veins popping out
Yep.
to the stream.
Wyatt, yours is a little bit more involved. We're going to get you set up to play Armored Core 2.
We're gonna break you.
Oh my god!
We're gonna make you sit down and play Armored Core 2, which, to note, is a very good video game.
Yes.
But
Wyatt,
it's
important
tank
to
controls.
note, yeah, if you don't have any controllers with sticks on them, you won't
You'll be
need them
fine.
for this 3D third-person shooter.
Oh wow!
It's gonna be great. And of course, we all need to suffer together for one of them. But what was that, Wyatt?
No, nothing. Just
Yep.
It is actually a punishment this time.
I'm good.
Look, the amount of, I don't know if we would call it fun that we had playing Aliens, Fireteam Elite, really just made me think we should play another game like that we can all play together that I know we're going to regret, which means we're all going to play Anthem.
No!
God.
We're gonna put in a solid multiplayer stream of
boy.
Anthem, assuming the servers still work. I haven't checked on that. I think they
Assuming
do.
the game works.
I think they do.
Assuming
I
we
keep
can
on,
get it
I
to
keep on
run.
being recommended the Anthem subreddit, which I don't know why. Maybe it was telling me what was about to happen.
That's
Oh,
more.
no.
Apparently, it was like enough of a community thing where someone proposed to their now fiance on Anthem, which is
Look, if your game doesn't have someone propose through it, you're not a multiplayer video game. I'm sorry.
That's not a real story. That's not a real story. Come on.
All right. Well,
Like
Brett,
it
go ahead
before.
and switch us to 2023. We're going to go ahead and start the draft for this year in
Yep.
Double O Radio 3, The Return of Jafar, for us to pick some games. We have a few notable rule differences this time. We're picking 10 games each for this portion. We're going to pick another 11 or 12, depending on how the math worked out, over the course of the year to add to our lists. So there's going to be a lot of games on these lists, a lot of games we probably don't know, and that's intentional. So we're probably going to lose points on some things. Accept it. It's going to happen. We also have counterpicks, 3 counterpick slots this time. If you counterpick a game, it cannot be dropped. We're only going to pick 1 counterpick today. The rest are going to be picked over the course of the year. So you have a lot of time to pick them.
is there a latest date to be able to pick counterpicks? Or
November
is there
1st is the latest
Alright.
date for that. It's always the latest date. And you can pick them past November 1st, but they have to be games that are releasing that year. They can't be things that aren't releasing past that point.
Yeah.
Notably, you also have to have picked all your games by November 1st, as well as everyone towards, I believe, September. Whoever is in first place, everyone else is going to get a super drop, which can be used to drop any game, even a game that has been counterpicked. So it's any game regardless of it. If you're in last place, you'll get one of those. It's by point differential, so like if 2 people are tied, neither one of them will get one, and everyone else will. So it's a complex thing, but some people will get those in September. I'll remind people to check those out. Otherwise, we're picking 10 games, 2 of which have to be new game franchises. They don't have to be picked today. Those can also be picked over the course of the year. But we have 22 games, 2 of which are new game franchises, are the new rules. You can drop anything that isn't going to release this year So if you have a game that you pick up that you don't think is going to release this year, that's fine. Just drop it before the year's over. Or don't, because you won't really lose points for having it, depending on if you don't want to add anything else.
Just takes up a spot, that's all.
Just takes up a slot, so don't feel like you need to be super picky about things that are properly releasing this year. Go ahead and pick whatever you want. Whatever floats your boat. Now, I'm making another rule for this that can't be enforced through the website, but we're going to enforce ourselves. I've won 2 years in a row, so I'm not eligible to win anymore. I'm going to say, this year I can't win. But I've gone ahead and named my publisher after good old Vince McMahon as Mince McVan, and Mince McVan is really trying to mess up y'all's days. So if I see a game I think one of you is going to want, I'm going to take it away.
You bastard.
So be aware of that as we go through the draft. I pick last, so make sure you pick your stuff first.
Oh my god.
We're going to go ahead and get started.
Oh boy.
You should now see a thing.
You heal.
Wyatt, let me know if you do to pick your next game in either the top or the sidebar. As long as you're in the 2023 section.
So this first game that I'm picking, I think, is going to be a pretty safe choice. Mostly because of this franchise's history and the relative consistent high quality that's put out by this developer. I'm going to select Tears of the Kingdom for my first game. Again, I think that's just a safe bet. I think
solid pick.
It's just going to be it's just going to be a good game. I think that isn't really I don't think we're going to get any massive like Cyberpunk 2077 rug pulls with this kind of game. I think
It'd
this
be
is
very surprising.
Yeah. And if I go through this year again without picking any games, I think this one will net me a fair amount of points.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And the nice thing about this year, we have a lot of announced games coming out in the first couple of months of this year, so we have a lot to pick from compared to last year where we had the issue of we didn't really know what was going to actually release and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that could be happening here. Right. That should be, I believe, Brett or Alex next.
Anaconda IBM.
Alex.
Yeah, I think it's me. Are we... Or are we just saying...
Talk to your logic here. What's your picks? What are games you may be trying to avoid if you need time to search a little bit?
My first one that I have to pick now that Mince McVan has threatened me with that is I feel like it could possibly end up being a bit of a gamble if it releases this year, but it's been very high priority and visibility for all of us. I'm gonna be picking Starfield.
All right. I'm gonna say not a bad pick. I think some people might not love the Starfield.
Yeah.
Or trust Bethesda.
Also part of the gamble.
I just want to play space RPG real bad.
It's true.
All right, once you have that selected, it should move on.
I wish I knew how to select it.
Oh, you're in 2022 still.
What? No, I'm in 2023.
Oh, no, you're not the one screen sharing. Yep. You should see a thing on the top in this blue bar.
Blue bar. Oh, there is nothing blue on my screen. It is all orange.
It might be underneath your publisher thing on the left here where my mouse is then.
And Anaconda IBM on the left.
About drafting something, I don't know.
Details?
No.
That's next published previous.
What I'll do is Alex, go ahead and share your screen.
It's only allowing me to move games, which.
Alex, go ahead and share your screen real quick.
All right.
So we can show you where this is. Or direct you if you might be on the wrong webpage, which is possible.
I'll go back to where we.
Yeah, the draft game button right there.
Game.
Oh, it wasn't there before.
Yeah, so you do have to reload sometimes for these. And then also don't forget to unstream so that we could put the layout back to normal.
Oh, right.
Look, we're technically capable individuals.
We only do this once. There is definitely like a wait. How do I do this again? And then
Yeah,
after-
we only do this once a year, and it changes every year a little bit. So
Yeah,
none of
a little bit.
none of the developers in this podcast are programmers. Can you tell?
All right. If we're getting picky over who's gonna get what first, I don't want anyone else to get this first, Ryan. So I want Armored Core 6.
Yeah.
The Fires of Rubicon.
you know that would have been my first pick if you would left
exactly.
it. 100%.
Exactly. I've made a point in my little list that I made beforehand last night to try to not do what I usually do and just only pick things that I like, because they don't always review very well, even if they are pretty good games. Because I'm out for blood this time.
You're out, so you get to pick what people have to do.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't really have a lot of fear of Armored Core 6 being bad. It might review poorly as others have in the past because it's just really, really hard. But I think that might not even be the case anymore because of people
Hard
are
is
just, like, used
mainstream
to
now.
FromSoft now. Exactly, that's what people expect. They're highly doubt it's going to control with tank controls because they already didn't for the last two, or last two numbered ones at least. But yeah, I don't know. FromSoft is in a place right now where I usually never think that a certain thing could get away with doing literally anything and I'll buy it, but FromSoft is absolutely capable of that, and I don't think they're capable of making anything bad, honestly. So I have faith, whether it's blind or not. We'll find out.
Right. Stream volume and... Alright, there's a couple big picks here that I think are quite impressive things that I think other people would want to pick. Now, I feel like there's one big game on this list that is an unequivocal, this is going to be good game that I think we all have our eyes on. There might be a couple, but I feel like I just really can't let Wyatt or Alex have Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I think I just need to remove
Wasn't
that
thinking
from
of that
the
one at
board
all. Oh.
in this early stage. As much as I love Final Fantasy, I feel like Spider-Man 2 is going to review better.
Probably.
Even if Final Fantasy is really good.
Plus,
There's-
go for it.
There's less. I feel like for a new Final Fantasy game, there's always going to be those people now that are going to be like, "Oh, this is the worst one. This takes the new spot above 13, above 15, above Final Fantasy 2. And this is now the new worst one." Because it's such a long running series, you're going to have people like that no matter what. And Spider-Man, not old enough, or there hasn't been a bad enough example for that to be the case yet. The games that are out are both really, really good.
And also, I mean, Insomniac has been on such a winning streak recently.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my god. Like they have not failed in a very long time.
Yep.
Which is
All
impressive.
right. Well, I failed to remember that I also get the next pick because it is a snake
Yes.
draft, which means I get one more thing to remove from the board
Oh
from
no.
you all. And look, we all know it. Hades 2 is going to be a banger.
Ugh.
I can't let you have it. Even if it doesn't come out this year, I can't let anyone else have that. That's dangerous.
That is dangerous. That is
Mm.
very, very dangerous. And a smart play by you. But I thought you were going to go for Final Fantasy 16, Ryan.
I was thinking about it, but I feel like Hades would make Wyatt a little bit more upset that I stole it.
Oh, what? Be upset? No, no.
Probably.
Not at all.
It'll probably review better too, I think. Because I don't know.
And also, again, the
Hades-
rules for this year are it just has to have an open critic score. It doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily need to be released. So it could be an early access release. It could be another...
Oh, weird, yeah.
As long as it is playable and has an open critic score, it is considered a valid game for this league.
Makes sense. That's the way how it should be. But yeah, I'm picking 16 without any way to play it because it's going to be PS5 exclusive until I think the end of 2023.
I feel like it's going to be
most recent
probably come to
trailers
PC. I don't know when.
Yeah, it's gonna come to PC. It's not gonna come to Xbox probably, but I bet I can force this poor bastard to run it on
Hold
low or
out
something.
enough to play
Uh,
16.
Yeah, I don't know how bad. Well,
14 is pretty optimized, and it's the similar team, not the same team, but
and I know people like hated the 7 remake Epic port, but that is like the greatest running game on my laptop out of all the things that I have that look like that. So if they just do that again, it'll probably be fine. But yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of things in this game look really cool, and I think it's going to be a return to form for the franchise, and that it won't be crap this time. Hopefully.
oh, fingers crossed.
Yep.
At this point, it's kind of a high bar.
It is now your turn once again.
Alex's.
Alrighty. Let's go for. I saw it here a minute ago. Okay, let's see. I think. Yeah, so I'm usually in the habit of not letting people who are trying to be heels stand idly by
Yeah.
unchecked, just picking games that they think other people are going to want. So I think I'm going to pick something that is a little close to home for you, Ryan.
Ooh.
Oh my.
I'm hoping you're gonna do a good job. I'm taking Diablo 4.
You know what? I wouldn't have picked it anyway because I feel like that's a conflict of interest.
Exactly. You don't want to Yuji Naka yourself.
I don't want to
do
Yuji Naka myself on
Yeah.
fantasycritic.games. I feel like that'd be a bad look.
But now,
Alright.
Ryan, you have reason to do a terrible job so that Alex doesn't win.
Hey, only you have the power to make me win or lose, Ryan.
You
Oh,
can
no.
you can now make sure that Alex never wins.
You know what? Alex has been in last place and pretty far behind the whole time. I don't feel bad if he gets a W this time.
Understandable.
All right. Well, you did pick Hades too, and that was a real kick to the nuts. I picked Tears of the Kingdom first because I felt like that was a slightly safer bet.
Oh, absolutely. I think the question
but-
with Hades 2 is, does it even get a review score this year?
Mm.
That's a good
Yeah.
question mark, I would think.
Plus, from what I remember, they didn't give like a firm release date, and
They didn't.
We have and that's the other thing. We had but that did break my heart. So your task that you set yourself up for this
I'm
year
setting
is
out to cause
working.
emotional damage.
Screw you. I'm gonna go for another safe bet, and I think a couple of people might have wanted to put this on their list as well. I'm gonna put Hollow Knight Silksong.
That would have been
Yep.
my next takeaway.
That would have been mine.
Let it slip through.
Even comes out.
If it comes out, but we can't risk it.
Yeah.
Did they not give it a firm 2023?
That game has
Even
been
if
in
they
ether
did-
for years.
I know.
Yeah,
I
even
know.
if they did, I wouldn't believe them. I would not.
I mean,
believe
again, though,
them.
we can drop if they don't come out. So
Yeah.
There's not. I want it here.
And the safe
just
bet
to
is
block.
if it comes out, it's probably going to be very good.
Exactly.
It's here. I can like just walk away if it doesn't come out, and I can block the rest of you from having it if it does come out. So, so Hollow Knight.
There you go.
What's your second one?
Right.
Yeah, you get the sneak
Snake
pick.
That's correct.
One
all
more
right.
big Wyatt
Here's-
pick here.
Here's another one that I think is probably going to review well. I think it's another safe bet, and another one that's probably going to pop up on someone's list. Star Wars Jedi Survivor
Oh, yep.
Yeah,
comes out.
That seems like a safe bet.
Comes out nearish my birthday, so there's that too.
You're either going to be
And I like
happy
the
or
first
really disappointed.
Yeah, man. It's either going to be the greatest birthday gift I get, or the absolute worst that I will just have to wait and see. But I trust Respawn. Even if they don't maintain their games particularly well, they usually launch them very, very well. So
That's true.
there's that.
Right.
I I'm gonna go a little bit further down on my list here. This is one that I think it's the studio, or at least this IP has been messed around with by so many people. It's gotten so many different genres of game under its belt. Most of them, if not cult classics, I think are insanely fun to watch others play, and people can have like really fun bits in them. Whether I kind of trailed off there in my train of thought. I completely lost what I was trying to say about this game, but I am going to be going for Warhammer Space Marine 2.
You know what? That's a solid
Good
pick.
one. That's a good pick.
I think it's
I think
it's a different dev
it's
team.
so
But they showed a little
anticipated.
gameplay and it looks so good.
Mhm.
Very happy with what we saw.
I think it's just so anticipated, and it's a sequel, so it's not the start of another series one, but
It's
it's
also an oddball pick, right? That's a game that
Little bit, yeah.
could come out and be a 9 out of 10 and nobody would know.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be a 6, but we'll choose to believe it's a 9.
fingers crossed. I'm thinking 7.5, 8. From because there's a lot of expectation and weight on the dev shoulders to make this one live up to the hype of the first one, or the hype that the first one brought with it and is carrying forth.
Also, I forgot to ask, are we counting games that are out on one system but are launching on a different system?
No. If they already have a review score, you cannot pick them.
Okay,
Mm.
gotcha.
That's generally the way
This-
to think about
And
it.
what about like remasters? Of, like, older
Let me
games?
check the year specific options, because I changed them a little bit. So regular remasters no, but remakes yes.
Okay.
The difference between that
Gotcha.
is like the Nathan Drake collection is not eligible, but something like the Pokemon
Resident
Brilliant
Evil 2
Diamond
remake.
or RE2
would
remake
be-
is valid.
yeah.
What about international releases also? Because I know that's
I believe those are allowed, as
I
long as it
figured
doesn't
it was-
have a. You know what? It's not set to. I'm gonna go ahead and confirm that. So you should be able to pull in a thing that, as long as it doesn't have a English review score, it should be eligible.
all right.
If it isn't, it will tell you that it isn't. When you try.
Well, Resident Evil 2 remaster was brought up, and I think Resident Evil 4 remaster has some gigantic shoes to fill. Those are not shoes. Those are like
Some real big Uggs.
those are minivans for like big troll feet or something.
Moon shoes.
Yes. Resident Evil 4 is like the thing that reinvented / invented third person shooters, and for some people made the franchise and some people killed it, because after that, from a lot of people's point of view, things went downhill from there. But I mean, they're remaking it, so they have the chance to polish it to even more of a mirror sheen while doing a bunch of other wacky stuff with it that's new. The only thing is, Resident Evil 3 remake, and to a certain extent 8 also are just kind of to a lot of people. 3 remake because they left out like half of the game and removed like all the personality from Jill as a character, which kind of sucks because she was a cheesy nerd in the original. And then 8 just kind of didn't review as well as I think people thought it would when it was getting.
It was a very different type of
hype
game,
around it.
because it kind of returned
Yeah.
to the adventure game Resident Evil roots instead of the horror game roots, and I think that kind of took
Exactly.
people off beat a little bit.
Yeah. So it depends on what they do with 4 remake, but they would have to try really hard to make it bomb completely. So I have faith in Leon Skennedy. So
Leon
he's
Skennedy
going
and his
with-
skin are really
yes.
shaping up for you. All
Oh
right.
boy.
Now, I gotta think. There's a couple games on here that I think will review well, but I don't think that you all think they will review well. So I got to be a little tactical with my pick here. What I think is actually going to be a good grab among these things. And so I'm picking Mina the Hollower.
Never heard of that.
I don't know if any of you know this.
Oh.
So this is the Shovel Knight team's next game
Oh.
that they're working on. And everything they've shown has been shaping up very well. And really, I'm just picking this because I feel like there was an off chance that Brett wanted it.
Never heard of it before in my life.
Now that
Well,
you
hey,
mention
maybe
it,
I
No,
I
think-
think
now that
game.
you do hear it, do you want it?
now that you
I don't
mention
know,
it, Ryan,
maybe.
I'm looking back. I do remember this. I think we had watched this during.
Yeah, it was in
some-
one of the shows over E3 time. It was in like
I
the
remember-
PC gaming show or something.
Okay, yep. I'm looking at gameplay again. I do remember that this.
it's
looks
it's
pretty
like the
cool.
old school Zelda like.
Yes, it's the Game
Type
Boy
thing.
Color Zeldas. It looks
Yeah.
like this. I
Yep.
remember this one. Yeah. Well, now
I
I
don't
do want. How dare
Actually,
you.
know this will come out, but I want to remove it from the list because if it does, I feel like this is a pocket 9 out of 10
Yeah.
that someone could really just have show up and win the game for them.
Oh, it's got the axis from Castlevania 2 and the whip. Ooh. Okay, yeah, this looks pretty cool.
And for my second pick, in the snake draft of a time, there's a couple things here that I know are only picks that I would pick, and so I'm intentionally not picking those
Oh God.
because I really think other people don't care. It's probably the right way to put it. But just to put again everyone else off guard, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
Damn it!
What?
This was a
You got
targeted
me.
Brett round.
Ooh.
You got me.
Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is a Jet Set Radio inspired indie game that has looked
Oh.
very good in everything they've shown. All the trailers have been great. Slated
I
to
was
come
just
out
gonna
in
pick it
summer.
for the name.
By
Oh,
the
it's a
people who
great
made
name.
Lethal League, also.
Yeah, so good team behind it.
Mhm.
Looks like it's shaping up well. I don't want you all to have that option.
How dare
No
you.
nostalgia points for you.
Ugh. Ugh. You get a
Um,
phlegmy sigh, good sir. Ugh.
All right. I see.
Think
I
how
have
angry you'll
my...
all be if I win again, even if I'm not
Right.
eligible to win the punishment selection.
Well, it's funny because your whole goal is I don't want to win. I want to like screw over other people. That could still mean that you could.
Well, 'cause
very
I'm still picking
possibly
things I
win.
think are going to get points. I just think I'm picking things that I think other people will pick that will get them points instead of picking all the Like a Dragon games.
Wait a second. So Ryan, if you really want to go heel turn and be like the fun time ruiner, what if you gave yourself twice the amount of counter picks as the rest of us?
Oh, that I don't know that I could actually do that. I don't think that's an option in this list, but that would be very fun. I'm treating my regular picks like counter picks in this scenario.
So he, well,
Unless
first
you
of all,
want to counter pick Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, lose those points.
Well, absolutely not. I want to see that game succeed. What a cool name. And also, Jet Set Radio is pretty cool from what I've seen of it.
first of all, we have our yearly unannounced Bloodborne remaster on the sheet
Mm.
here. That's
When is
next
it coming
level.
out for PC? I want to see that port tag.
Not
Probably
gonna be
never.
there. Never happening.
I've never cared about Fire Emblem in my life, other than that thinking the GBA sprites for the character portraits look very nice, and the music from Three Houses is very good.
Oh yeah,
But
good
I know that
stuff.
people really like Fire Emblem. People are already making fun of the main character of this one for having Crest toothpaste hair, but I
Oh,
don't
I was
think
going to say
that'll
Switch
get...
themed hair because
I think
That
that's
was
the
probably the intent.
Oh, I'll
Uh,
still make fun of it. It's a
yes.
design decision.
The big rumor with Fire Emblem Engage is that it was meant to be a 30th anniversary celebration or 35th anniversary, whichever was the anniversary that happened last year, except it wasn't ready in time, and so it didn't line up with
A
the
little bit of a
anniversary, and so
whoopsie.
it doesn't make as much sense anymore.
Probably.
Hey, at least they didn't push it out unfinished.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the big note with this game is a bunch of previews just dropped that were all highly positive.
I didn't even know that.
Some very good first impressions to outlets about Fire Emblem Engage.
Oh, I have a question about new game franchise.
Yep.
If it's a new game in a pre-existing franchise that didn't start with video games, or maybe even did start with
I
video
think
games.
no, if it has a video game in that franchise, it's not eligible. As long as it doesn't
Okay.
have a video game, it should be.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So
I
anything with a
have
2 after it is not eligible.
I have my pick. I played a little bit of the mobile port of this game years ago, and it didn't really catch on for me because I didn't know what to expect. I played the actual game on Steam much later. Loved it. It is some fantastic storytelling that really you can only do in a game. Because it does such a good job of using that format. I'm going with Oxenfree 2.
Ooh.
Oh,
That's a
good
good
Lost
pick.
pick.
Lost Signals.
Good pick. I really like the first one.
I completely forgot Oxenfree had a sequel coming out soon.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think we can say anything negative about that one. That's a good
Yeah,
grab.
no, that's a
I couldn't after I played it after knowing,
solid pick.
what the purpose of the game was.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna pick a game that satisfies two things. One, the new game franchise slot, and one that I think someone's gonna pick, and I'm kind of surprised no one else has picked yet. I'm looking at Brett and Ryan specifically here. I'm gonna pick a Wolong Fallen Dynasty.
Oh, you
That was
bastard.
what I was talking about. Was saying there's some Ryan games on here that I don't think anyone else is gonna pick, but that are definitely what I would have gone for. Wolong's definitely one of them.
Yeah. So that's my first one.
Three Kingdoms Warriors is a great thing.
I wanted to get one of my new gaming franchise picks out of the way. And the other one that I want to pick.
Snake.
I'm looking at my list here because I've been compiling a list.
There's still some
I've got
high profile things left.
Yeah, there's some good ones here. I think I'm gonna go with Hyper Lightbreaker.
Ooh.
If that even comes out.
That is a good grab if it does come out, though.
That is a good grab, though.
Which, again, if it doesn't come out, it's not that big of a deal because I can just dip.
Yep.
So there's that. And again, I think there's a couple people in this cast that probably would have put that on their list. So that helps as well.
I actually forgot that game was even coming out.
But now it's Wyatt's. So
And you cannot have it.
Well, alrighty. I think Ryan, you and I have talked about this game for what absolutely feels like years, because it probably has been. And it's finally coming out. It's finally coming out, Ryan. Can you believe it?
There's so many games that I've wanted to play for a long time.
Just a month away.
Coming out.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah. If that should be eligible, I think, if it doesn't have reviews.
Oh, it already has a score.
If it already has a score, it's not. You might be
Oh,
out of Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh,
No!
That was on last year's draft.
Alex.
Oh,
Alex.
Rip.
Crap. All right, let's see. In that case, that is an unbelievably crushing disappointment.
What a shame. Larian is too reliable. We can't have them in our drafts.
I am gonna go for Season: A Letter to the Future then.
Oh,
it's an interesting one.
I believe we've seen a couple of really, at least one.
Oh yeah,
it looks like
this had a really
insanely
showing a while
atmospheric game with that hints at some pretty fun mechanics.
Yeah, I this is what actually on my list of games that I'm looking forward to next year. So I'm excited to see how that reviews.
I gotta start picking between some. It's getting more and more difficult.
We're getting down to the wire, Brett, and there's a few things that I'm gonna take if you let it get to me.
I know, but I still have
playing with the heart or playing with the points.
Exactly. Because here's the thing, I don't mind not winning is the problem here. Because the numbers, they don't really matter to me.
Numbers don't lie,
Um,
Mason.
The numbers don't lie.
What do they mean?
All right, we're gonna fill our new game slot for one of them.
Would it be? Would it be a home
Um,
slice?
This game looked pretty cool. Scars Above has gotten some
Oh.
things. I don't think it's gonna score incredibly, but who knows? Maybe it'll be cool. Maybe it'll be another 1 point. But that
It
hasn't
is
stopped
one
me
of Prime
before.
Matter's first big high-profile releases, so we'll see.
Comes out soon too, February 28th. I didn't know that. But yeah, it looks cool from the stuff they showed off. It looks more things like Returnal. I do not think is a bad thing at all because Returnal rocks.
Yeah, Returnal kind of slaps.
Reminds me of both Returnal and Remnant, and both of those are very favorable comparisons.
Yes.
All right, well, it's time to crush some dreams. We got a few games in here that I know are going to make, specifically Brett, a little sad that I'm taking them, because it didn't happen last year, Brett. A game that you had on your list didn't release, which means it's
I
now
know.
needing to be mine.
Oh no!
I don't have faith that it will
AEW
this time
Fight
either.
Forever
Oh.
is being taken by me.
Oh,
can have
no.
You can have it.
I'm not confident it's going to release, and I'm not confident it's going to be good, but I'm still going to play it regardless. So.
Because you're here just to be a dick.
I mean, I also want to play it. I am legitimately curious about if this is going to be a good thing. Now, the second game, I think there's a few question mark games in here. The question is, which one is it most likely that someone else wants? That's a big question here. The thing that I think is really hard to answer. But just because we haven't heard from it in a while, Nintendo's year, they don't have a lot of high-profile releases coming out this year. I think it might be time to pull in Metroid Prime 4.
You're a psychopath.
Whoa!
I
There's
have a
something
feeling
wrong with
Metroid
you.
Prime 4 might sneak
Whoa!
in to that winter 2023 slot for Nintendo, because they don't have a lot of heavy announced hitters aside from Breath of the Wild coming.
Ryan,
Been in
that
development
is
for a long time.
bold.
Okay.
It's bold and it's speculative, but you know what? This year
Wow.
I don't care about the points. I just want to make sure that you can't have them.
Yeah.
I can't believe you've done this.
I think I can confidently say that nobody would have picked that. That being said, if it's real, then I mean,
If it's real, that's big
what a
money.
play.
So
What a
Yeah.
exactly.
And
big,
we're all
big
screwed.
money.
really playing some
Um,
4D chess here.
I don't even know if this game is going to be on here.
Ryan's at the roulette table and he put it all on black.
No, I put it all on 0-0. But hey, if it wins, I'm winning big.
So just saying, I Am Jesus Christ is here for another year. So if anybody's feeling a little
The
frisky,
prologue is here. The prologue is out.
Oh, they're
can
releasing it in episodes.
that-
Oh dear.
We should stream it. I'm not even
if
kidding.
anyone is silly enough to buy it,
The prologue's
unless
free.
It's a free. Oh, is it a free
The
demo?
prologue's
Okay.
free. Yeah.
Oh, well then, it's guaranteed to happen.
We got to stream it. I feel like that has to happen.
God.
From what I understand, the
uh,
developers are really, really nice and like they're like super cool about everything.
I would hope so. If we're
Yeah.
making a game called I Am Jesus Christ.
I think they kind of know it's a huge beam and they're just super nice about it. Like, yeah, we know, whatever.
All right.
I can respect that.
Yeah. We're going with another weird one. I've blown my load on all the AAA things that I only semi care about, and Armored Core 6. So we're going to weird territory, and I'm hoping for another Signalis for this one.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know why it says TBA here because I think it did have a trailer for 2023, but Conscript has a demo that I played a while ago, and it is freaking incredible. It is top-down World War One survival horror with like
Ooh.
the most crunchy, bit crushed, disgusting aesthetic that you could possibly give a World War One setting. And it's like, yeah, you're a French guy with a gas mask shooting at Germans, but then there's like just a unopenable iron door like covered with barbed wire to an eldritch extent. So I don't know what's going on here. They're kind of going wacky with
Color
it.
me
I'm
intrigued.
excited. I'm excited. Another one guy team. But
Those have
I've
been
been
on a
following on
hot
Twitter.
streak lately.
Oh,
There's been a
yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
really good solo productions.
Seriously.
Oh yeah.
I followed him on Twitter for a while, and it seems like it's going well. He's really happy about it. It's getting everywhere. All the people who are able to put it in most hyped lists or whatever, it's getting there. So I'm excited. I have faith. I don't know. I think we're looking at another unsung banger.
All right. An interesting pick. Hey, Alex, you are
Ooh,
up.
it is back to me.
For your next-
I almost got lost in the amount of other picks I'm trying to think of.
Go down the list and
let's-
figure out what's your next high-profile grab.
Let's see. This is one that I kept on getting Wolong Fallen Dynasty confused with. I'm hoping this one turns out good because I'm a huge fan of Journey to the West and that story. I love that set of myths.
I know
But
where this is going.
I'm gonna be going with Black Myth Wukong.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if it's slated for this year or not, but been chugging away for a while, so maybe we'll get it.
It's been
Just hoping.
getting fairly universal praise from everything we've seen of it too, so it's looking good so far at least.
I want to play as Monkey Man. I want to have a giant staff. I don't want to sit on a cloud because I just want to be Primal Goku.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense. All right, Wyatt.
All right. So
what's
the
your
second
next big
one,
play?
this first pick is gonna fulfill my other new game franchise slot. And listen, if it doesn't work out once, you just do it again. I'm slapping Redfall on for another year. Let's go.
You know,
Let's go.
Well,
can't argue with it.
I wasn't gonna pick it. I was hoping someone was.
Honestly, everything I've seen about this, I am liking quite a bit. And Arcane rarely misses, and even
when they miss, it's usually still fun to play.
exactly.
Let me ask a clear up question about counterpicks. The game can, if you're counterpicking something, that means it can come out, but its score is bad.
So yeah, a counterpick, you lose points for every point above 70. That a counterpick
Above 70.
gets.
Okay, all right.
But if it is below a 70 when it scores, or it doesn't come out, you won't lose any points, you'll get a 0, or if it's below a 70, you'll gain points for counterpicking it.
Okay.
So my picks so far have been pretty AAA, well known. Everyone knows these games are coming out. I want to flip the script a little bit, pick something that's a little more out there, not completely unknown, but we're kind of lowering down in the notoriety here. I'm gonna pick Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun.
You know what? That's a great pick.
Which looks like an absolutely rad boomer shooter, and for
those who don't know, it's a
good.
gorgeously animated 40K themed Doom that. Oh, it looks so good.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Hopefully it plays as good as it looks.
Yeah, I am very much looking forward to that because it looks rad.
Alex, your next pick is up.
It is me again, and I think I think I'm gonna go for another one of the high anticipated ones, or what? This one's mostly according to hype factor. Unfortunately, we played the first one of these for Game Pass, and I know at least Brett and I weren't. I believe Brett wasn't a big fan of it. I know I wasn't too big of a fan of it. But the hype usually does not lie. Octopath Traveler 2.
Oh, thank God, someone else took it.
Yeah,
I don't want to be stuck with that.
I will say, I think Octopath Traveler 2 to me is shaping up a lot better than Octopath Traveler.
I hope so.
And I also think it's going to review well, because Octopath Traveler reviewed really well.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're getting another good review for this.
We're going wacky again. We're going
Alright.
wacky
Wacky
again.
time?
I'm excied.
We're going wacky again. I didn't forget
What'd it
about this
be?
game. I will never forget about Lies of P.
Oof.
For having
Oh, you're
the
going for that?
worst
I'm so glad you're
title
taking this.
in the history of video games.
Brett, the
pretty
gameplay
bad.
one that they showed looks really good.
It looks good. The title
really
sucks.
good.
It's terrible.
I still think it's as bad as Forspoken, because Forspoken just does not
The game or the
roll
title?
off the tongue.
No,
Yeah.
the worst title is Made of Scare, but SKER.
Ugh.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Because just saying that out loud
Oh,
makes
boy.
you real confused immediately.
I don't know. The gameplay for this looks really cool. It's got in the wake of Bloodborne never coming to anything else, more games that look like it and even look like they play a little bit like it are welcome for people who want more, or people who haven't even played Bloodborne for more than like an hour and a half yet because they don't own it. I don't know. It's been development for a while. It'd be cool if it came out.
Be cool if it came out. Be
Um,
cool if it was good.
Yeah, I'll continue the trend of if somebody needs to counterpick anything, I'm right over here on the bottom left.
Hey, maybe it'll work this year.
Also,
Hasn't the
I'd
other
like
times,
to.
but maybe it will.
Also, I'd like to submit a Slitterhead also for worst video game.
Yes.
You know what?
God,
Slitterhead is up
that's
for
right.
best video game names. Are you kidding me?
Ugh.
All right. Now,
No, that's
this
a
is a
death metal
targeted
OD'd
pick.
in a back alley.
I've got a targeted pick this time. One person in this group is interested in this game, and I don't want them to have it, and that's
What are you?
Flintlock Siege of Dawn.
Oh,
I'm taking it away.
damn it!
It's going
Damn!
into the bit. Of
You could
games.
say that was my fault for not picking it.
I almost thought because you sounded like you were gonna pick something like it the last time we were talking about not going AAA. So I was like, oh, is he gonna get it before I get to it? Nope, it's locked in the vault now.
Darn.
Not for you.
I
this
completely
year.
forgot what its subtitle was.
Forgot what it was called.
Because I really want that game to do well. That is like one of my I usually allot myself, like, because we have Game Pass for that, so that's usually my subscription thingy, and I have Destiny to keep up on. I usually allow myself like one or two AAA games a year. That was
Mhm.
going to be my one, and one that I would be very satisfied with.
Yeah.
That I'm still
Alright.
hoping I will be.
My second of the snake pick is a targeted one at Brett. Brett, I know that you.
Past 5 have been too.
I know that you have started the Trails series, and so I'm taking Trails into Reverie off of this list.
Okay.
Oh, it has reviews. Never mind.
Haha.
I can't take it off the list, but you can't have it anyway. So we're still good.
That's fine. If I can't have it, no one can.
Good enough. All right, now
Reverend.
going down further in my list, I think there's another game on here that Wyatt let slip last year, and I think you know what, Nintendo, you got to release the game at some point. It's Advance Wars 1+2 reboot game.
God.
It has to come out eventually.
Out for blood.
Is Ryan gonna does what Nintendo don't?
Because I thought about putting that on the list this year, and
I don't even think it's gonna review well.
really,
Just so he can't have it.
Because so many people have complained about the art style. Like, I don't have a problem with it, but I think a lot of
I think
people
it
just
looks
really
great.
don't like it. And
Oh,
so
right.
I have a feeling it's just not going to review well,
It
regardless
really-
of the quality.
I mean, I think the release of that game and when it releases really depends on how things develop in certain real world events, current
Yeah.
events, right? And with this kind of situation, these tend to not end quickly. So I was like, you know what? Let's not, just because I don't know when that whole thing is gonna,
The off chance.
how that's gonna resolve. So yeah. But also screw you.
Yep. There's what I was hoping for.
Here, I gave you what you want. Are you happy?
Right, what's
To
your next pick,
remember.
Wyatt?
He's not up.
Oh, it's
I'm
not,
not
it's not
up.
him, it's Brett.
I was
remember
very
what it's
confused
called.
there.
Ah, yes. Aiden Chronicle is a weird situation of the tale as old as time. Someone left Konami and took everyone who liked them with them and made the same game without Konami's name on it. But instead of Castlevania and Metal Gear Solid, it's Suikoden, which is now getting remasters because they saw how hyped people were for this game. But this game is still not out yet, and I mean, I don't know. They have that action game that they released as like a little prologue. I have not heard anything bad about that, even though it plays completely differently to this, which is more of like a just turn-based deal. I don't know. There's a lot of faith behind this team because there's a lot of cool people on it, and it seems like they really enjoyed making this game. And I think it would be cool to see it do well, and just keep up the train of Death Stranding and Bloodstained, and now this of just the biggest money middle finger to Konami physically possible. And it's be good to have another Kickstarter game do well, because I think this was the Kickstarter game as well.
Yeah.
But you love to see when that works out.
Yeah.
Look at a proper Suikoden sequel. Ooh, even if it's
Yeah,
just a spiritual
exactly.
successor, that is a hyped idea.
Mhm.
Wowie, back to me. Some another one that I until now I think we may have heard about. It's also pretty decent on the hype factor points. But also I'm picking almost purely for the art style. And I'm
Sometimes
going
it's
to
a
be
very valid play.
yeah. And I'm going to be doing research on this as soon as the podcast is over, because now I'm really interested in it. Yeah, now I'm really interested in it, and I can't speak anymore. I'm going for Sea of Stars.
Damn
That's
you!
I'm very glad you took that, because I knew Brett was waiting for it. I was just whether or not it was going to come to me or him first.
I was hoping no one would know what that was
Oh.
except for me.
Brett, that's like unironically one of my most hyped games
Bastard.
next to you.
It looks so good. It looks so pretty.
gorgeous.
What's the premise of it, or do we know anything besides
It's
the
a
art style?
JRPG.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's a Chrono Trigger spiritual successor, but like actually this time.
Yes.
Like they didn't just like it's not just like a turn-based RPG that has like maybe a time mechanic in it that the indie dev is like, oh, it's a Chrono Trigger spiritual.
It's also
successor.
notably
It's not.
by Sabotage Studio, who doesn't have a lot of high-profile releases, but they did The Messenger, which is phenomenal.
Oh my god.
The Messenger's
that's that
incredibly
side-scrolling ninja game, right?
The side-scrolling ninja game that like transfers from 8 to 16-bit partway through it.
Yes!
Very good.
I
love
remember
that
playing
game.
that so long ago. That's why it gave me the tickle.
Good pick. Screw you.
Got some hard decisions to make, Wyatt.
Yeah, because there's one that I've been sitting on that I feel like will probably be a safe pick, but we haven't even had gameplay for it yet.
I think I know.
And
which
it
one
was
you're talking
only
about.
recently announced, which makes me hesitant to put it
There's
on
a couple of games like that on this.
Does it have a date? Does it have a month, or is it
I'm
still
not.
an
Listen.
expected?
I'm not sure.
I mean, it says in the thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
Yeah.
wrong.
He's playing the game where he's not going to tell us, so we can't take it from him.
Yeah.
Wait, he's about to pick it.
No, he's
No,
saying
he's
he might
How
not
can we
pick it. He might wait.
Oh,
It's up to Wyatt. What's the
See,
what's the
again,
play
I
here?
think,
Are you sure it isn't One Piece Odyssey, Wyatt? Do you not want One Piece Odyssey for your game?
none of that was English to me.
that's a fighting game, right? One Piece Odyssey is a
No.
fighting game.
No.
Alright.
Oh, what?
JRPG.
What?
You know what? I'm
Huh.
gonna say screw it, and I'm gonna go for it. My next pick is Pikmin 4.
All right. You know,
We're getting crazy.
not bad.
Yeah.
Pikmin Fever.
It is slated to come out this year. And again, I think it being a Nintendo game and it not being a sports-related Nintendo game, it has a
Right.
fairly good chance of doing
I was
well.
gonna say, yeah. If you pick a Nintendo game, you're gonna get points. It's.
I don't know. They were like the least scoring publisher we had last year for a lot
Well,
of
But
stuff.
they all
because they didn't
scored
have-
positively, didn't
That's
they?
because they
Just
didn't have a
barely.
lot of heavy hitters last year. They had a
Yeah.
lot of sports titles which people weren't super like
'Cause we were
happy
expecting
with.
Advance Wars, and we were expecting Tears of the Kingdom if it came out.
Kirby reviewed well.
Kirby reviewed well, but not super well. Like not
Yeah.
Nintendo major release well for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Mouthful mode couldn't suck it.
Do I want to do this? Yeah, I do want to do this, I think. Yeah, I do want to do this. All right. My next pick is Forspoken. No, I'm just kidding.
Could you imagine?
For context, we
After
played
what
the
you
demo
went
for
through,
Spoken, and
after
it
what
did
you
not
went
go
through,
well.
Wyatt.
So, okay.
After what we
yeah.
all had to witness.
Not to say
I,
we don't know if it's gonna be horrible, but we had a bad time.
I did not. Yeah,
had a
I
great
was,
time.
and that was a game that I was kind of like looking out for. I was kind of rooting for it a little bit, and now I regret
Whoa.
every single bit of breath that I wasted defending it. So
Hey! Just remember, it's perfectly fine. The protagonist doesn't sound like they want you playing the game either.
But yeah,
Right,
that was
it's
really
true.
a problem after a
That's
little while.
A legitimate
Yeah.
critique.
yeah, I think the writers were just as upset with the game as the rest of us are. This next pick is a anticipated sequel, or I guess semi-sequel. I don't really know how to classify it in this case.
I know what you're
and
going for.
I think many people expected this game to not come out given everything that had happened surrounding it. My next pick is The Wolf Among Us 2.
Ooh.
Highly anticipated title. The original Wolf Among Us, the first season, was great. And
It's one of Telltale's highest
It was-
reviewed games.
It was
Yes.
it was fantastic. I am
it's one of
really
their
looking
best.
forward to this. Is this their
Um,
debut after coming back up as a studio?
I didn't they.
They're also
I
working
know
on
they
the
did some more
Expanse
Walking
game.
Dead stuff. They're doing the Expanse.
Oh yeah.
I know that they finished up the Walking Dead with a skeleton crew or something. I don't know. It's a super interesting situation, but I'm glad that we're finally getting a sequel because I think it's something that a lot of people
Oh,
really
yeah.
wanted, and
It was a fantastic IP.
yeah, it's such an interesting setting too, and I think it was among of all the like they kind of have a very similar art style among a lot of their games. It differs somewhat depending on the IP, but I think this was one of their most like visually striking series that they've done. So
Yeah. Alright,
Do you
Alex,
know
your
what
pick?
else is a highly anticipated sort of sequel, Wyatt?
is this what you thought I was gonna say?
At first, yeah, but then yeah. Um, but
One Piece Odyssey?
is that a sequel?
I have no idea.
So this one is definitely a gamble, but I think when it comes out, it's going to be positive, if not very positive. The gamble is if it's actually releasing, because it is stated next winter. So this Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh.
Yeah, they left this open
You're-
as to whether or not it would be 2023 or 2024. But
What
Yeah.
is this?
You're crazy for this.
this is the 7 Remake Part 2.
Oh, is that what they're calling it?
Yeah, Rebirth.
Okay.
It's an interesting pick. You got some tactics there, Alex.
Final
You
Fantasy
go
Tactics?
crazy.
I wish they
only.
would release Final Fantasy Tactics again. You kidding me?
Listen, the tome of the Nvidia leak, it gives us new gifts every day, and that was on that leak.
Oh,
So
when
I
are they going to
still-
run out of stuff from the Nvidia?
Is there
leak?
anything from that
are
leak
running
that
out
wasn't
soon.
true?
I don't know yet. Well, that's the thing.
Wow.
Because if
There's
it's
been
not
things that haven't
true, it
lined
hasn't
up,
come out.
but it was such a speculative leak anyway that who knows?
Yeah, the fact that weird things have come true from it is enough. I think
It
to
truly
at
is
least
the
keep me
Rosetta
interested.
Stone of gaming.
Yeah, for sure. I got a couple weird ones, and I'm running out of even weird ones because we've actually been doing a pretty
Oh,
good
we're
job
on our
of
last
covering-
picks.
Yeah. Just one more snake around, I think, and that's it. There's a lot of things coming out that I don't really have a lot of faith in. Even if I might have liked a previous version of them, I don't believe that the Dead Space remake will be that great. It could be bad, and I'll be sad, but I don't want to risk it on picking it. So I'm gonna do something stupid and just pick something else that might not even come out. I think this was Alex's pick last time. And I played the demo for it, and it was incredible. The System Shock remake.
We have a release month for this, so I feel like this is a
Yeah.
much safer bet this year.
Yeah, that was going to be my last one.
It was
Well,
really
you got
good.
me
I don't know
back.
I don't know if anyone else had the chance to play it yet, but
Nope.
it just
Is it
plays.
still available?
I think so.
Yeah.
It 100% scratched the marathon itch that I had after not being able to emulate that
For
properly.
sure. Yeah. And if you have trouble setting up System Shock 2 or whatever because it's really old and you kind of need to mod it to make it work right on modern systems or whatever, or if you've played the hell out of it and don't want to play the same game again, this seems like it's just going to play like System Shock 2 but newer, which is
Yeah.
great because System Shock 2 is a masterpiece pretty much. So I'm excited to
storytelling.
wander the blue hallways of hell for 40 hours.
All right. Like, I'm going to grab. Before I say this, let me make sure this is a game that I can actually pick.
Mhm.
Go with pick number 2. There's a couple of things coming out next year that I think are more valuable, not as prime picks for points, but prime picks for counter picks. And I want to see you all get angry at who gets bonus points because I picked a bad game that you can easily counterpick.
Oh my
And
God.
look, I'm a big fan of the Game Awards and the incredibly silly, terrible skits that happen during some parts of it. Notably the one for Crime Boss Rockay City.
What?
God.
Ugh.
Which is one of the most fever dream-like moments I've ever had at
Doesn't seem
a
real.
show. So I'm taking it. You guys can counterpick it. Someone will probably get some bonus points. Who knows? I think that's really the big question with that. Now, there's a couple of good picks for the second one. A few legitimate picks, a few not so legitimate picks. I think there was one game that really stood out to me at one of the indie showcases. And whether or not this stood out to anyone else here as well, I think we're about to find out. I'm taking Replaced.
Oh, I was gonna go for that one.
Gorgeous pixel art. Gotta remove it from the list. It's too dangerous.
Looked so pretty.
Could
Too
be a
dangerous
sleeper
to be
hit.
left unpicked. Yeah.
I apologize if this takes a bit. I am at the oily film covering the bottom of the barrel right now. I'm whittling away at it. I got to see if any of these games are even on here.
Oh, God.
Because I
The Forest is getting a sequel.
yes, and that looks kind of interesting, kind of weird. It depends what state it launches in, because that issue kind of plagued the original Forest, for a while. I think kind of still does. But I'm gonna
While you're
really-
picking, can I just say, a lot of this is all speculation. This whole game is
Oh,
now
the
Oh,
entire
yes.
thing is speculation.
And on that note, Rare, where's Everwild or whatever that game's called? What's going on with that? What?
Last we heard, they had like redone the game and re-envisioned it as something else. So
Oh.
I have no idea
Oh dear.
Like, yeah,
what the current
Rare,
state of that game is.
what's going on? I want to know.
I think
I
that the
wanna
rumor
hear
going
something.
around was that they had made the cinematic trailer based purely on concept art and not
Oh, jeez.
any actual game that had been made.
Oh.
So
Hmm.
who knows? I'm also
I-
curious. I think it speaks to our speculative minds here. Nobody's picked Hogwarts Legacy again.
Confidence in it.
Are you saying that you are picking it?
No.
He can't anymore. He unless nobody does it this time, then he can when this is over. But I think because you're at 10,
the
right?
reason I didn't
yeah.
pick it is because I wasn't sure if anybody else wanted it.
I
don't.
that was on my list for a gamble pick. For the
Because
last
I think the interesting
so.
thing with it is I don't think that game is going to review poorly, but whether or not it reviews well is also up in the air. I feel like that could be a
There-
solid
I
7 out
think-
of 10.
I think solid 7 out of 10, but then there's also the probability of we know the problems with the IP.
The 30%
I
chance
don't-
it reviews
I
horribly.
I don't
Well-
think it's out of the question that this game gets review bombed by people who just
I'm curious if
have
major
that sense
publishers
about
would
them.
do that. I also wonder if there will be a lack of reviews.
Oh, we're doing this based on the not
That's-
the
It's
players
based
score, the-
on critic scores, not
Okay,
user scores.
okay.
Yeah.
So don't worry about user scores. But I think you have a point. I do think there could be some review outlets that choose to not cover Hogwarts Legacy because of J.K.
Well, do we think
Rowling's-
not cover or actively bomb?
I don't think bomb
think
it.
it
I
would
think just not
bomb
cover
it.
it.
No.
'Cause
I
that's-
feel
that's
like
just
most
unprofessional at that
reviewers
point.
feel like that would be too unprofessional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, as we've stated, like Hogwarts Legacy is not a J.K. Rowling is not a person that any of us follow or
Yeah.
agree with
At
on her
all.
Twitter
Yeah.
statements and whatnot.
Yeah.
But many of us grew
Just
up
in
on
case
Harry
it needs to
Potter.
be said again.
And the team making it hopefully is good. We really know nothing because it's not the Avalanche Studios that makes Just Cause, it's the other Avalanche that is a complete unknown for the most part. So, we'll see.
Still on the way to find out.
Imagine if the people who made Just Cause made a Harry Potter game.
That would be funny.
I would love that.
The
That would be
physics
proper
for getting just
sandbox.
blown back. Ooh.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, Brett.
All right. This game, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the Steam tags read free to play PvP online co-op shooter, and that's not a recipe for disaster. I don't know what it is. But all the people from DICE that knew what they were doing had to go somewhere, and they went here. So
What are you thinking?
I don't know. I think Arc Raiders has
Huh.
a chance. A chance. Please God, I don't want to play. I don't want to have to play Halo Infinite at all past halfway through this year if I don't have to. All right. And if
And I
Arc
do want
Raiders
to
is the
fight
game that
giant
makes me
robots in a
stop doing that-
squad.
Exactly. And they got a cool aesthetic going. A little bit of a tentative release date here, but the minds behind it claim to be the minds behind the previous Battlefield games that made them good. And this is a little bit wacky, but if you do some new stuff while sticking to what you know well, I think that's a good way to make something that is new, that is fun. And if we have a little bit of a PvE resurgence, if that even had a first surgence in the first place, I'm into it. I think this could be interesting. I will have faith until it looks like it's going to be horrible, and then I will jump ship.
All right, that sounds like a plan.
Does that mean because of the snake pick, I am the last to choose? Why did you get
No, I
yours
will end up
already?
choosing.
No,
again.
Weiss gets one, yeah.
Okay. All right.
We'll all have 10
Um,
at the end of this.
Mhm.
All right. Then I am like I was saying a little bit ago. I am going to be doing the another little bit of a gamble and be going for Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh,
All right.
someone finally bit the bullet or bit the wand.
Hey,
That's it.
you really don't know. This could prove to be big points. It could also prove to be no points at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Important
we'll
too. It's
see.
fast points too. Like you get
Yeah.
instant gratification if it's good, because that's coming out really, really soon.
Yeah, February.
We'll find out quickly.
Just someone.
I got a couple of picks here, and for one reason or another, it's a gamble. I kind of want to just throw caution to the wind with one of these, because I feel like a lot of my picks have been pretty safe up until this point, which I guess for points is good, but I kind of want to do something crazy.
Why not a Proctor if you're doing so much gambling?
This game might not even come out this year. You never
Ooh,
know.
big
Actually, wait,
speculative.
it does have a set release date. I actually didn't know that. Okay,
Oh.
never mind. I'm doing this purely based on the quality and the consistency of the developer, because we've barely seen gameplay, but here we go. My next pick is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And I am purely picking that because Rocksteady makes really good video games.
That is
All
a
right.
rock steady pick.
They make really flippin' good video games, and I only hope that they've taken this long because they just want the game to be good and not any kind of insane behind the scenes issues. I don't know. I'm hoping.
All right. Well, it's the time for counterpicks, which means I got to choose a game here that I think is going to be potentially terrible, or maybe just a game that'll cause maximum chaos if I do pick it. And in that case, I really think I got to commit to the bit and counterpick. Oh, where is it? Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh my god.
Digging his own grave.
Because I'm a little too worried that I might have picked good games again. So
Oh god.
I just really need to bury myself.
Mm.
So remind me again what counterpicking does exactly.
If you think someone's game is going to not score very well, counterpick it, and each point that they get as a negative, you get as a positive. So the one that I can think of off the top of my head is High on Life this past year. Alex picked it, got negative 0.8 because it scored like a 69 point whatever.
Yeah.
I counterpicked it, so I got plus 0.8, which is insignificant. And
notably, if you don't pick the counterpicks, though, you lose 15 points. So you need to pick them.
Pick something. That's why. That's also why Alex could have beat me and did not, because each counterpick you don't pick is minus 15. I think.
So then, if you're picking things that you think will be bad, why on earth would you counterpick Tears of the Kingdom?
Because he's afraid that he'll win again.
Chaos.
Okay.
Also, I do think there's a legitimate chance that game gets delayed past the end of the year. I really hope it doesn't, because I want to play it really bad.
I want it
With the
so
development
bad.
history of Legend of Zelda, I think there is a precedent for it to get delayed again. I hope it doesn't, but I feel like they've set the precedent. It could happen.
My choices here, and someone's got to go for the low-hanging fruit.
Is it going to be you?
It's going to be me, because this game looked literally vapid of any personality and content other than movie stars being in it. And you know what? If it's good, I will be genuinely surprised.
Yep.
Because if anything, I'll get like -1 for this. I don't know.
You don't think it's going to go above a 7.1?
No, I really don't. Like, I will be surprised by the end of the year if that doesn't.
I would be too.
Sometimes like a game comes out and it's like, whoa, I expected to be like way like more middling, and it comes out.
Let's just wait for Crime Boss Rocket City to come out and be a 10 out of 10.
Oh my god.
I believe
it's done. Show's over. Alright. Alex, it should be your counterpick.
It is. Let's see. Draft counterpick. Game.
What is happening? What have we done?
I'm trying to do like the Peanuts, like what is it, like the
We were doing the wisdom dog.
The wisdom dog, yes. That's a good wisdom.
Okay.
Yeah. If a ball is bigger than your mouth, it's
wisdom
not
in
your
this podcast.
Pick something, God damn it.
I've been looking for it. I completely lost it. Oh god. Oh, where is it? Where's the
There's a couple of good options still left on the board here for counterpicks, I think.
I feel like I'm gonna go for Suicide Squad. I'd like to see it do well, but I don't know about it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because
that's my biggest risk.
Don't forget, everyone who isn't in first only has one like free get out of jail free card no matter what. Because normally you can't get rid of a game that's counterpicked. If you don't think it's gonna come out, or if it doesn't come out, you're either forcing someone to use their get out of jail free card on that counterpicked game, or they just have to deal with getting 0 points for something because now they can't get rid of it.
So, Brett, hi. You and I
drink from me. Drink from me.
Imbibe.
You and I are both big Battlefield fans, and what that means is that we've had a lot of great experiences playing those games, and that also means we've been burned a lot,
repeatedly, really badly.
Really badly.
Like those two right there, they have salmon skin all over them. They just got out of the burn ward.
It's just the upper
Right.
body that looks good for the podcast.
And-
Everything below is charred beyond belief.
He had his
Your-
legs fused together.
Your logic for Arc Raiders is sound. All of the good Battlefield devs had to go somewhere. And I remember when we saw footage of this, the reveal for this, I was like, this looks really neat. I cannot shake the feeling, though, that these are the Battlefield guys at the end of the day. And even if they're the talented ones, that doesn't mean I fully trust them.
That's fair
I'm
enough.
with you, because I can see it now.
Yeah.
Like servers that don't work, horrible connection no matter what, because they're an indie dev now.
Yeah.
Who
And
knows?
We
what
think
they're
at least
capable
they'll have a
of.
scoreboard.
And Battlefield 1 was an anomaly. A legitimately great game that was released by DICE that had very few issues at launch. And I don't think for the Battlefield series or for anyone involved we'll get something like that again. I just don't think it'll happen. So either this is going to come out and it's going to be a good game, but it's going to be a mess and it will make us not want to play it, or it will just be bad. And because of that, that's my counter pick, just because 2042 has stifled all excitement for future Battlefield games and anyone associated with that franchise.
Yeah.
I share your optimism, but I also don't at the same time. So
Share your pessimism.
I cannot have my heart broken by these people again. I
Don't let
can't
them
do it.
I think
can't
it's a
do it.
sensible
you.
pick.
Yeah.
Despite my hope of being that Arc Raiders is good, I get the.
I want
the
to be proven
cynicism here.
wrong. I cannot tell you how much I want to be proven wrong. I get this feeling that I'm not.
Yep.
If it
All
even
right.
comes out.
We got a lot of picks left to make, and I'll remind people we have a number. I'm throwing out a freebie to you all because I'm surprised nobody picked these games because they always tend to score well. There are a number of Like a Dragon games coming out this year.
I was very
Guaranteed.
surprised you didn't pick any of those.
Well, because
You
I'm
shouldn't-
not playing. I'm not playing for what I want. I'm trying
You're
to
a
help you
character.
all out.
It's the gimmick.
Because otherwise, I'm just gonna win again. And so, someone should pick the Yakuza, the Like a Dragon games, because they'll get you points. They will be guaranteed points. Maybe not many, but they tend. I don't think a Yakuza game has scored below a 7 in many years. So, I'd throw yourself in there, especially for Ishin, because there's a combat style where you have a pistol and a sword and you dance while you fight, and I feel like that's a 10 out of 10. So.
You know what? You know what game? Another one that was in here that, Brett, you brought into the light for me. That I still have the demo of, and it says it's speculative release 2023. I don't think it's going to be coming out this year, but if it would, Sealco looked
Celico?
really
Yeah,
Celico.
Yeah.
Well,
Very low
now that you
hype
mention that,
factor
I'm
for
going to
that
go ahead
one,
and put a bid in for Celico right now.
You
Feel free to bid yourselves if you
bastard.
want to.
Ooh.
Oh. I
You
thought we
go.
were going to have a lockout onto when we could do extra things right after the draft finished.
And the way bids work this time, there's a timer there that you can see on Brett's screen. Bids will be revealed below the upcoming releases. Once they are revealed, you can bid on them publicly. So they're going to be revealed, I believe, on Thursday, and everyone gets to look at them. And as long as you bid before the end of Sunday night, you get to throw your hat in the ring, and whoever bids the most gets it. But you always know.
Who will run
You can
it?
also this year trade games. I don't know if anyone will ever want to do that, but there is an option to trade games. So,
what would you be willing to take from me for me to get Sealco?
oh well, you can bid on it right now. You don't know what number I bid.
Oh, that's right. You
Yeah.
bid on it.
You can bid on it. You can bid a number between 1 and 100.
Oh.
You only have 100 to spend. So
Is that 100 to spend for like the week that you're bidding on?
that is for
games?
over the course of the league. Everyone has 100 imaginary dollars to spend on bidding.
Okay.
When you bid, you have a minimum bid of $1, so you need to bid at least $1, up to whatever you want, and then whoever bids the highest in that game will get it.
Okay.
What I will generally do is probably post in the chat when there is an actual game that we really want to that is on the bidding that might be wanted to be bid on. That way, everyone gets a chance at it. Should something
Let it be known. Let it be known. I just made my in the 2 years that we've been doing this. I just made my first bid ever. Look at me go.
Nice.
Look at me go.
God.
And that is how
I
you
did
will
it, you
add all
guys.
the games to your list. There is no other way to add things. So make sure to do that before the end of the year. November 1st specifically is when there is the lockdown of you can't bid on games that are not releasing before the end of the year. So make sure to get them in before then. But there'll be reminders. I'll post in our Discord about that. That said, we're done with the draft for this time. How's everyone feeling? They feeling good? You've got some good picks under your belt.
Yeah.
This time, yes.
I think wider
I
question.
feel like
2023. You think it's shaping up?
I think it's looking like a pretty good year.
I'm
so
gonna
far.
repeat the joke again that I usually hear it a couple of years of like God, 2021 is gonna be my year. 2022 is gonna be my year. I've never heard a single person say that about 2023.
I will say we didn't have difficulty getting 40 games picked for this.
No.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
impressive because I every other time we've gotten to the point where we've been like kind of dredging things that we don't
Through the
know
bottom.
about. But there's a lot of stuff that has been delayed the past few years. A lot of things that are starting to come out now. So I think there's a lot of games here that are really interesting. We'll see if Silksong releases this year.
That'd be a
Hey,
miracle,
I
wouldn't
hope
it?
so, but we'll see. All right. Well, we did the show. It's time for shoutouts.
When?
The end of the show. We did it. So anyone have a thing they want to shout out?
yeah, I do.
All right.
Just yeah. Shout out to Dairy Queen's Reese's peanut butter cup blizzard ice cream cake.
Nice.
It's very good. Ice cream cake is the best.
I haven't
Ice
had
cream cake is the
in
best cake.
years. Oh,
Me neither.
get some
Yeah.
ice cream cake at some point. All right. Who's next?
I got one. I want to shout out a video game that I've been playing recently. Shout out to SteamWorld Dig, which is a game that came out quite a few moons ago at this point, but it is a very, very solid Metroidvania that involves digging your way and basically digging out the Metroidvania map. And there's a slight puzzle in and of itself. You have to go down, but you also can't mine upwards. So you have to be very specific about how you can jump back up, but you can't mine up. So you have to be very specific about how you create your caverns and stuff like that. And I think there's some weird rough edges, some bafflingly strange decisions that were made that I hear was ironed over with the sequel, which I heard was like noticeably better. So I'm excited to try the sequel, and it spawned its own little franchise. And so I'm excited to try the rest of the franchise because it seems like they tackle different genres with every
Yeah, they do.
with every game they make, which is super
Until Dig
interesting.
2, which is pretty similar to Dig 1, but has a lot more like Metroidvania type stuff in it.
Yeah.
It's very
But they've
cool.
also tried some 2D like tactics type stuff, and
SteamWorld Heist is very good.
SteamWorld Heist I heard was very good.
The card
and there was
battler called SteamWorld Quest.
Right. Yeah,
It's a,
super
new
interesting
puzzle.
super interesting franchise, definitely.
All right, well, I got another interesting franchise to shout out. I would play Death Stranding, finally. I finally got over the hunch of, like, getting the game and having fun with it. Because I understood the game before and was pretty happy with it, but I never had the motivation to get further in than the second area. I've hit that point now where I'm going through and something clicked, and it was right about when the Kojima-ness of this game began to rear its face again. And there's a quest where you have to, a main thing you have to do, there is no way to avoid this, it's not a side thing, where you go and there's a soap opera quality love story that is done by a Japanese actual like actress or model or something. She is one of the people that was scanned into the game, like Guillermo del Toro and whatnot. Where you have to go and put her in a body bag and carry her to her estranged lover. And man, the voice acting is really, really... Look, I don't want to be mean because it's clear that English is not her first language, but it is something else. I encourage anyone to go watch the scene because it is super funny. Especially because the other actor in the scene is like really over dramatic the whole time and Shakespearean almost. So it just comes off as like a brick wall at the Shakespeare theater major. talking to each other, and it's incredible. It was one of the
A brick
best and
wall and a
worst.
theater major.
I'll show it to you after this. It's great. All right, Kojima, keep doing what you're doing. I love it.
All right, mine comes with a tale. It's a little bit of a tale, a story.
Oh.
But it has to be said because I'm still reeling to this day.
Yeah.
So a few days ago, it was my mom's birthday. And this shout out is to my mom, by the way, not because of that, but for a much more twisted reason. There's a Gundam / anime shop near where we live called Gundam Planet. And the first floor is where you find the things that I care about. The robots, the model kits, the things that you put together. And the second floor is where you find your figures. Now this can range from things that normal people enjoy, like action figures that you can pose of characters that you like, to things that other people enjoy, like the anime girls
The
with
so-called
the no clothes on.
degenerates.
Yes.
Oh.
Now,
Oh
every single
no,
time
Brett.
that we go to this store, I'm always like, yeah, like whatever. That section is like weird. I don't get those. You've seen my room. I don't embarrass myself. Whatever. And we make.
My room is something other people can go in.
Yes, I go in expecting this to be the conversation I would have with one of my friends, where we just both make fun of them. But instead, and this was months and months ago, she said, "Oh, but they look so cool. Why don't you have them? You should
Oh
get them.
no.
I want some." And I'm just
Oh
like,
no.
what? No. And I explained why I thought my entire life that was wrong and that I would be embarrassed and yelled at for having these things in my room. So months go by. It's not too far away, and there's a lot of cool other stuff on the way. And I get a Gundam model out of it. So we go there once every couple of weeks for me to go further into debt there. And the most recent time we went, we brought my sister, who's only recently gotten into anime at all. She does not care about Gundam either, but she likes Hello Kitty and stuff. And there's a lot of that stuff there too. She also went up to the second floor. The entire time, my mom and my sister were like, I want this one, I want this one, I want this one, and this one. I was like, you people are insane. And so my sister walked out of Gundam Planet with a figure of, I think her name is Amelia from ReZero, with just a black t-shirt on, sitting on a chair.
No.
For probably like somewhere in between 20 or $40, because those things usually aren't that cheap.
My God.
And so on her birthday, Mel was like, Brett, I want to recognize the characters that there are figures of at Gundam Planet. Can we stop watching things like Cowboy Bebop and just watch something that I'll be able to recognize when I go to Gundam Planet?
Oh my God, your mom's a normie.
And I say, Mom,
she's a degenerate. There's a difference there.
Is a degenerate. And I need to find the exact, because I literally immediately after she said it, I immediately recorded it in text form on my phone, and I have to find it. Well, I can't say it. Never mind. She said, I want to watch an anime with one of those girls with the word for things on the chest in it.
Brett, we can say the word. We
okay.
don't want to say this.
I don't know. I don't know if you can say boobs or not. Okay, I don't.
You can. Look,
probably not on YouTube anymore, but on Twitch, that's fine.
Left and right. Either way, that came out of my mom's mouth. And so I'm sweating as I'm looking through our smart TV for shows to watch. I don't want to watch any high school DxDs.
Oh no!
I don't. We're not going into the deep end here, but I don't know what's not the deep end. This is the stupidest thing I've ever been asked to do in my life, but it's my mom's birthday. So, long story short, we're 3 episodes into Kill la Kill.
Oh my God!
She loves it. She loves
it.
Good
pick. Good pick.
Loves it.
Wow.
It was the safest bet. She loves it. Every time they do the transformation sequence that usually it's like a parody of like the Sailor Moon magical girl or like the giant robot combination sequence, except it's just like Johnny Test whip crack sound effect over like a character's like butt or something as her
It's
outfit
so
transforms.
funny.
They do breast
She
boobly.
dies laughing. She dies laughing. It's amazing. I like it's
That's
incredible.
So fun.
And I'm enjoying the show more. I've already seen it, but I'm enjoying it more now that this strange experience has happened. So that was my 18-part shout out, but it's done. And now it's off my chest.
Look,
That
sometimes
was
it's good
a-
to have an 18-part shout out. You know,
That
sometimes you
that was
gotta
an
a phenomenal
epic tale,
story.
my friend.
Yeah.
My
you gotta
goodness.
raise the bar.
Oh God.
Thank goodness.
That said,
And
that's
on
the
that
show. We've gotten through it. We've finished the episode. We've truly descended into the depths of terror. You know, I think we're done. We'll see you next week for
Brett's definitely done. Look at him. Look at the poor guy.
next week is a regular episode. We're gonna probably look at some upcoming stuff, some stuff that we played over the course of the year, and talk about it. After that, we have some fun episodes coming. We have our Game Pass Games Club is going to be on the 22nd, so that will have our talk of all sorts of fun games from this bout of Games Pass Games Club. And then on the week after, we are going to do our award show for the year, which is not an actual like award show. Look, we don't have the budget for that. We just talk about games that we like and give them strangely named awards because we feel like it. So we're gonna do it again. This is another year where we're just gonna come up with things. Except this year, the twist is gonna be, I'm gonna make a standard list of like the regular awards. We're gonna do like favorite game of the year, best game of the year, you know, best audio, that the small gamut of things like that. And then I'm gonna ask everyone to come up with like 5 to 10 awards they want to give out to games that they played, and just make them weird, make them specific things. Essentially, have a game you want to talk about, make up an award so that you can talk about it on the show.
Good.
That's the intent this year. So that'll be coming up at the end of this month, and then the show will continue as usual. So for now, we'll see you next week.
We made it.
We did it.
We made
I
it, and I
actually
didn't
did it
make
on a
anyone
game.
angry enough to punch the screen, so I failed, really.
There was
I
no.
I don't
Game
think you could
Evolution
make someone that angry.
this year.
Yeah, there was nothing
I
to,
think
to
it's
take
physically
that was
impossible.
that.
Unless you somehow made yourself go first and picked Starfield.
Yeah, I intentionally put myself last, so that way I couldn't take the